The boy will come now.
Yes.
He's come or is now? He's not yet come now. Today what we'll do?
Not a truly beautiful.
Huh?
Not a truly beautiful.
A truly beautiful mind. Okay. Can you? Did we do last time? I checked up, no?
Yes.
So two advantages of total solution. Absolutely. Today is the 21st, no?
Yes.
Yes, right. Last time also we had it at 4:30 only.
Yes. Yes.
What was the timing? What was that?
4:30 to 6:20.
6:15.
Yes.
What was the lesson that got last time?
Ma'am, we did diary entry
Diary entry.
and we revised the.
Last time was wind.
Yes, we revised.
You repeated that wind, no?
Yes.
You already ran with you, but we repeated it, no?
Yes.
Okay. After 14th in any class?
Yes, ma'am. Then it's lounge.
So we didn't have any class in that way. It was cancelled.
Yes.
Okay. You wait for him for some time, or is he coming? Just give me the then we do a sheet. Okay, now, what can I say? We'll start then. Are you sure he's not going to come? You have, but he stays close by, no?
Yes.
Well, last time he came a little late. Which book is it? In Moments or Behind?
Behind.
What page is that?
Page number 47.
Page?
47.
The road not takeable done?
Yes.
Wind is also done. Little girl. Little girl?
Yes.
Done. Page 47. Renandru?
Yes.
Renandru also done?
Yes.
Yeah? A truly beautiful man. You were supposed to have done it last time, and I told you, no, take something else. You told me to do that. Okay. Come forward, come forward. Bring your book. I think you've got a pencil with you.
Yes.
Acha, bring a pencil. Okay, now, friend, you come so late, Baba. You stay close by, no?
Yes.
You come late from school, is it?
No, actually, I was sleeping for that.
Sleeping.
Yes.
Very nice, very nice. Come on, sign that fast and come in. Fast, thank you. Okay, thank you for Toda. Okay, now. So here, a truly, no, I don't want for you to write down in your book. Okay? Ready, Mister? You got your book, no? Page 47. We have your book, no? Page 47. A truly beautiful mind. Who is a genius? Whom would you call a genius? Take the mask off, don't put it up. Who would you call a genius? Yeah, I think I told you that last time. Clever people, yes. Clever. Little more than clever is intelligent. Okay? And genius is someone who thinks differently, out of the box. Okay? Thinking is completely different. But it is a thinking that will not, what should I say, thinking which will bring in benefits. Okay, but sometimes that genius can be very destructive. Sometimes the genius can be very destructive. Like Osama bin Laden, he was a genius. What do we use his intelligence for? What do we use his money for? To destroy, for destruction purpose. He was a genius. The way he thought how to strategize, how to do things, how to destroy, not get caught, at least for some time. Finally, your ways catch up with you and you get caught. There's a God. But when you use the gift given to you by God for something positive, to benefit his creatures, to benefit his creations, God's creations, you are a blessed person. Now, Einstein, what do you think, who do you think of when you hear the word genius? Who is a genius? What qualities do you think a genius has? We shall now read about a young German civil servant. He was a German who took the world by storm. Who took the world by storm means he created a storm. Normal people thinking, he immediately changed that thinking, very forceful manner. That means took the world by storm. About 100 years ago, in the summer of 1905, this 26-year-old published a quick succession 4 groundbreaking papers about light, the motion of particles, the electrodynamics of moving bodies, and energy. Now, you all are Einstein children, no? You all have got Bohr's theory, at one, turning round and round, but that will come to you later on. I think atomic structure, you'll have the atomic structure, the thing. I'm also a chemistry teacher, so he told you, he's given you the Bohr theory and the energy theory, how energy is not lost when a body is rotating. And a body is why it's not rotating, why it's not lost. That's a detailed explanation. But here he gives you that, okay? His work took up only a few pages in scientific journals, but changed forever our understanding of space, of time, and the entire cosmos. Cosmos means universe. And transformed the name Einstein into a synonym for genius. So the word Einstein is synonymous means is equivalent to genius means Einstein. Einstein means genius, full stop, not a thing in between. When you say genius, he's an Einstein. He's an Einstein. Okay. 50 years after his death, Albert Einstein's genius still reigns. Still reigns means it's still prevalent. Till today, we are enjoying the benefits of his intelligence. Albert Einstein was born on 14th of March 1879 in the German city of Ulm, without any indication that he was destined for greatness. He was born, baby. Nobody knows. Nobody knows that the baby was actually a genius. Even his parents did not know that. On the contrary, his mother thought Albert was a freak. To her, his head seemed much too large. She found that the baby's head was very large. He was a freak. Freak means unproportional structure of the body. Freak. Okay? At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. When he finally did learn to speak, he uttered everything twice. He was stammering. Haklana. Stammering means haklana. He was repeating twice. Einstein did not know what to do with other children, and his playmates called him Brother Boring. Okay? Okay, now see here, this paragraph is telling you, Otto Neugebauer, the historian of ancient mathematics, told a story about the boy Einstein that he characterizes as a legend, but that seems fairly authentic. As he was a late talker means he spoke very late. His parents were worried. At last, at the supper table one night, he broke his silence to say, the soup is too hot. Greatly relieved, his parents asked why he had never said a word before. What was Albert's reply? Before, everything was up in order. The moment something is not in order, I'll open my mouth. When he felt certain things were not correct in the universe, he opened his mouth and said, why? Okay? When things are, it always happens, if things are going on normally, nobody will open their mouth. The moment something goes wrong, there will be somebody to say something. Okay? So the younger boys, his playmates called him Brother Boring. So the youngster played by himself much of the time. People didn't want him, they were making fun of him. So therefore he played by himself. He especially loved mechanical toys. Mechanical toys mean now they have automatic. Okay, but that time it was all hand. mechanical. Looking at his newborn sister, Marja, he said to have said, "Fine, but where are her wheels?" He's even looking at her sister, Maya. It's not Marja, it's Maya. J silent, Maya. Okay, where are her wheels? He's looking at her as if she's a toy. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter because he'll never make a success of anything. Whatever he thinks to be, he will never be successful because he was not a normal child. Okay, he was a normal. Normally, he would sit properly, he would write. He was just while telling the whole class writing, he's doing something. His mind is working somewhere. He's not normally thinking. Geniuses don't think normally. He never made a success of anything. Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to do it. He later became a gifted amateur violinist. Amateur means who was a person who did whatever he wanted to do for fun, not as a profession. He wasn't a professional. He was doing it for the sake of entertainment. So he was making mistakes, but okay, fine. He was not a professional. Maintaining his skill throughout his life. He was a good player, but not very good player. Not a very good player. But Albert Einstein was not a bad pupil. He went to school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old and scored good marks in almost every subject. Einstein hated the school regimentation. Regimentation means discipline. Regimentation means discipline, and often clashed with his teachers. When they said, do this, he would do something else. And always he had, the teachers were targeting him. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left the school for good. He left the school. I'm not going to go. I can't do what the teachers are telling me. The previous year, Albert's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. Where is Milan? He is Germany. Milan is Italy. Okay, Germany and Italy. Okay, and left their son with relatives. After prolonged discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal than Munich. Okay, Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics. And after finishing school, he decided to study at the University in Zurich. Zurich is Switzerland. But science wasn't the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with the walrus mustache. He was very handsome, dashing, but his mustache was very long, like a walrus. Like that. No, walrus. What's a walrus? It's a sea mammal. Sea mammal. He also felt a special interest in the fellow student. He was interested. He fell in love with a fellow student, means that she was also very much very intelligent, physics and mathematics. Mileva Marek, whom he found to be a clever creature. This young Serb is what? Where is Serbia? From Serbia, had come to Switzerland because the University in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. At that time, women were told that you can't get a degree. Okay, so the certain areas were more broad-minded. They accepted women and they gave them the degrees. Einstein saw in her an ally against the Philistines. Philistines means what happened? Those people who disapprove of you. So he found an ally, a friend. He found a friend, and both of them were going against the people who were telling them not to do this, not to do that, were Philistines. Being going against somebody goes against you, you call him a Philistine. Those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds, constantly was fighting with them. So those people he called Philistines. The couple fell in love. The letters survive in which they put their affection into words. So there are letters, there's a proof. That he wrote letters to her, she wrote letters to him to prove that they were in love with each other. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with tenderness. My God, their language was Love language, but scientifically they were expressing the love. For example, wrote Einstein, how happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. Relativity means we are relatives, generally relatives. And he had founded the theory of relativity. So he's talking about his physics, and at the same time he's telling us when both of us will become related, meaning we marry each other. So that will be a very victorious conclusion. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. All of us graduate at 21. We finish up at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24 years, 20, 21. So that's the same thing. He was a university graduate, but he was unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private tuitions, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. Bern is where? In Europe only. Okay? While he was supposed to be assessing other people's invention, assessing means studying and going through other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. His duty was to sit down and correct other people's work, correct other people's inventions. Instead of doing that, he was doing his own work. His mind was different. You could not make him think like a normal human being. What would you do his own? He developed his own ideas in secret. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at the work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. So he said in this desk drawer, there were plenty of theory papers. So he called that a drawer of theoretical physics. That contained all his papers, physics papers. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Okay? Indeed, two perfectly equilibrated clocks. See, relativity means in relation to. Now you say, I'm going to come, I will come, I'm going far away. What's the meaning of far away? Show one relative point. No. Show one relative point. If you say, I'm going far away, taking UT as the center, one point, far away will be Jaipuria school, whatever. That's far away. Take a relative point. Okay, that's what it means. Just as I'm going far away. Alright? It is very hot. Take a relative point. Hotter than 29 degrees. Give a relative point. This is what says hot. What is hot for you may not be hot for me. So there should be a relative point. That's called the theory of relativity. So he said here, out of the relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relative to another one. So he said if you start two clocks at the same time, both of them will not work together. Because mechanism is such that one will move slightly faster than the other. And then when you brought them together, after 1 hour, okay, from according to your time, we find that one is slightly more than the other. Happens. Suppose I give you the same things to cook, and I give you a recipe. Two of you are cooking, same thing, same timing, same atmosphere. Yes, there will be a difference between both of you are cooking. It will be different. But we do the same thing. Everything what you said you do, but it happens. Okay? So you will say, I will say put 1 quarter spoon of salt, you may have a little extra. That is the thing. Okay? From this followed the world's most famous formula which described the relationship between mass and energy. E is energy is equal to mass mc squared. C is what? The measurement of travel of sound. C is the measurement for the travel of sound. Okay? In this mathematical equation, E stands for energy, M for mass, and C for the speed of light. Sorry, speed of light in vacuum, not sound. Speed of light. C is the speed of light. Okay? Now see here. What is the meaning of Einstein's theory of relativity? When you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, it seems like 2 minutes. But when you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like 2 hours. This is relativity. In other words, see in what context you're saying it. When you sit with someone whom you love very much, you enjoy the person's company, you want to be with that person, 2 hours goes like this. And when you're told to sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it is so uncomfortable, you think you're sitting on there for 2 hours. Relativity in relation to what's happening and how you perceive it in your mind. Okay? Now, if you love to be like I love to be a teacher. I love to teach. So even at this age, I am teaching. So I don't consider this particular teaching of mine to be a headache. Relativity. But if you ask me to sit and wash clothes, I will say no. I can teach for 2 hours, but don't ask me to wash clothes for 2 hours. Relativity. Depends upon your liking. Okay. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Unraveling means beginning to fall. Why? Because he was constantly with his books and he did not pay attention to his girlfriend. Albert had wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. At that time in Europe, and even till today, they don't bother about age. They fall in love, that is what it is. Love is a criteria. She can be old, she can be not very nice looking, she can be poor, she can be very rich, she could be, we don't have caste, we do not creed, she could be any religion, we are not controlled. I fell in love, finished. Love is what they will want, and that's most important in a marriage. Well, in our case in India, we'll see the age, we'll see the family background, we'll see the education, we'll see the caste, upper caste, lower caste. Okay, so many things we will see. Love is last. Love is last. Okay. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. Mileva was very intelligent, very intelligent. She's a book like you, his mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. He said, if my mother's not happy, I will not get married because ultimately the mother and daughter-in-law will keep on fighting and he will be in between. Son and husband. He's a son and husband, so he will say, put it off, forget it. The pair finally got married. They put off for the moment they put off. For the moment they said, put it off, keep it aside. The pair finally got married in January 1903 and they had 2 sons. But a few years later, the marriage faltered. Faltered means became weak. Okay? Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. What was happening? She was told to sit at home to look after children. See, when you want children, one parent has to sacrifice. So, in all norms, the husband goes to work, the wife has to stay at home. But it's boring to look after the children, and if you're an intelligent person and you are very creative, to sit with the children whole day is not easy. That's what happened to her. That's what happened. She started getting bored. Her intelligence was not being used. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. How many years they got married? They were married. For how many years they were married? 16 years. 16 years. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. The same year, he divorced his wife. He got married to his cousin, Elsa. Einstein's new personal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. His new personal chapter means his new personal life. It coincided with his rise to fame. In 1915, he had published the general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which the light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspapers proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution. Deflected means what? Changing direction. If it hits, it will change the direction. Light always has to travel in a straight line. But so it's traveling. It hit here, it will move. That straight line, it was a straight line, but the direction got changed because it got an obstruction. That's called deflection. Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. Lauded by the press means the press made him very, 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 very famous. Okay? You know how press is. The press can make you, the press can break you. Alright? Now, when the Nazis came to power in Germany, remember that Nazism was started by Hitler. Mussolini started fascism. And Stalin, Joseph Stalin, he started communism. Okay? When the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. He moved out from Europe and came to the States. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in NATO. Nuclear fission means nuclear breaking up. Nucleus breaking up. If the nucleus breaks up, it is a nuclear explosion, atomic explosion. Actually, in normal chemical reactions, you have only atoms and molecules participating in the reaction. But when the nucleus of an atom participates in the reaction, it is either nuclear fission, where the nucleus breaks, or nuclear fusion, where the nucleus joins up. Either way, it's an atomic bomb. Then the nucleus is getting involved in the reaction, there is heavy explosion. So here, 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission is broken up in Berlin, and American physicists in an uproar. Uproar means they were absolutely upset. Many of them had fled from fascism. From fascism, many of them had run away from Italy, just as Einstein had, and now they were afraid that the Nazis would build and use the atomic bomb. They were all frightened. Because if you know about the nuclear fission, that means you know how to kill the entire world. Everybody was frightened. They fled Italy because Italy and Germany, they were allied. Stalin and Hitler were joined. At the urging of a colleague, urging means someone coaxing him, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the 2nd of August 1939, in which he warned, this is the Second World War, a single bomb of this type exploded in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. Who wrote this? Einstein to Roosevelt. Immediately Roosevelt used this knowledge and bombed what? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But before that, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. Where is Pearl Harbor? America. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and then American destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. His words did not fail to have an effect. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb. So you see Roosevelt used this information and a secret project of their own and dropped it on Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Sorry? Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction and he felt guilty that I told the president and the president had gone and done this. So here the genius was used wrongly. He felt guilty. This time he wrote a public missive to the United States. Missive means a very long official letter. In it, he proposed the formation of a world government. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one gave no impact. Now, this one, just like the letter, unlike the letter that he gave to Roosevelt, made an impact. Roosevelt, if you should take the blunder wrong, because he got the secret from Einstein. But this letter, second letter, which Einstein wrote to Roosevelt says, don't do this, stop the war, unite all nations, that letter had no effect, no impact. But over the next decade, Einstein got ever more involved in politics. He gave up physics and joined politics because the world was destroying each other. Agitating for an end to the arms buildup and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. So he said, please stop. He stopped physics. He did not give any more development in physics. Who knows what would happen if he had developed something in physics? He went on to politics, propagating democracy, live together, okay, not against each other. When Einstein died in 1955, at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and a world citizen as much as a scientific genius. Visionary means someone who can see ahead of time. Ahead of time. He died in 1955. That means when I was alive, I was born, Einstein was alive. So I was born in 1951. So Einstein died in 1955. He was 76 years old. Old man, and I was just a baby. But he was born during our time, my time. Okay, you got that now? Understood? Now what I would suggest is read that lesson, and if there are any difficulties, ask me for the meaning. I'll explain it to you. A truly beautiful mind. Why is the mind called beautiful? Why is this mind called beautiful? Because it was a simple mind, but a genius. And he used his genius for the benefit of human beings. Okay? For the benefit, his purpose, what was in his mind, was for the benefit of human beings. Human beings misused it, that's a different story. I just do something and I'll give you the information. My mind is clean and I told you. If you take that information and misuse it, that's your problem, not mine. Everything is guilty by the way I tell you. I just told him, I didn't tell him to do it. I didn't tell him to misuse it. I only gave him the information. Followed now the difference. So it was a beautiful mind because it was an intelligent mind and he used his intelligence for the good of mankind. Mankind misuses, that will be on this control. Okay, do that, and we will do the working. Come, please. Read. When you're reading, be focused on the textual matter because sometimes when the questions are asked, you remember what you've read, then you can immediately, without any problem, write down the answer. Read with concentration, okay? Okay, it's 5, it'll take over now, at 15 plus 20 will come, okay?